Who would forget Benigno Simeon Noynoy Aquino's first ever SONA a year ago as a new duly elected President of the Republic of the Philippines? A SONA that pacified and voiced out sentiments of millions of Filipinos worldwide who hunger for nothing but truth about all the disgraceful anomalies the previous Arroyo administration has been engaged in. For the past 2 decades, the Philippines' economy has been fluctuating, manifesting minimal growth compared to its Asian neighbors. Owing to various serious problems besetting the country, it seems to have difficulties shaking off its image as the sick man of Asia. For sure, there is no lack of government programs to search for ways in order to improve the economic stability of our country. The government plays an important and lead role in this endeavor, although not all types or elements of progress depend solely on the government. In his first State of the Nation address, President Benigno Aquino III used various cases of misuse of public funds by the Arroyo administration as a pretext to promote the so-called public-to-private partnerships or privatization. According to Aquino, public-to-private partnerships will address the lack of resources due to a depleted government budget for the country's many needs. Incidentally, public-to-private partnerships were among the legacies of the first Aquino administration. It was during the term of Noynoy's mother, the late President Corazon Aquino, that the first public-to-private partnerships on the power generation sector were implemented. But what is privatization in the first place? Privatization is usually misinterpreted, ushering in debates on its pros and cons. But at the onset, it should be emphasized that it doesn't necessarily mean taking over power from the government. Privatization may actually be achieved in different ways. Primarily, it may mean the absolute removal of control and power of the government to a certain public infrastructure or entity. Yet, another way would be for the government to still own the facility and have the private sector operate and maintain the facility. Friends, I am here speaking in front of you as a co-advocate of the government's plan of pushing through and continuing this long-term proposed solution, which is no other than public-to-private partnerships. For I strongly believe that the supervision of public infrastructures by the government should be handed over to the private sector. Privatization has already proven its significance and effectiveness in the goal of drastic change in the economy of the country. It has already been executed to some public infrastructures, and among the notable examples of and biggest public-to-private partnerships projects are the National Power Corporation, or the NAPOCOR, and the Metropolitan Water Sewage System, or the MWSS. When the private sector took over the electric and water industries, budget has never been a problem to secure the necessary tools in order to maintain an operational and technical stability for its maintenance. The production of goods and services has been strengthened, resulting to a more progressive and creative way of freezing funds and addressing the country's age-old problems. In fact, according to Aquino administration, one investor is proposing to construct an expressway connecting Manila to Cagayan Valley at no cost to the government. Can you imagine that? No cost to the government. Another investor is proposing to lease the lands occupied by the Philippine Navy along Rojas Boulevard and its naval station in Fort Bonifacio. The unnamed investor will put the bill of the Navy's transfer to Camp Aguinaldo, immediately pay $100 million, and share a portion of business profits it will establish on the leased lands. Moreover, privatization has casted its lot against the fight for corruption, making it possible to lessen, if not totally eradicate, the corruption that has been taking place in the government's supervision over public infrastructures. Less supervision, less temptation to corrupt. This is a vital aspect, considering privatization as one of the many ways to alleviate the cancer of government, which is corruption itself. Privatization is indeed admirable, for it advocates both private and public sector to work hand-in-hand for a better country. But the question is the Philippines ready for privatization? Indeed, the government, as the prime mover of this initiative, is showing its worth to the business prospect. There is a great trust in the government. There is no reason for every investor to hide. Tayo na sa daang matuloy. As the primary theme of the Aquino administration, is also taking its part of the citizens, the protagonists of every action plan that the government is pushing through. We cannot be lagged behind from other countries. We are also in our way towards advancement and development. One of the many ways to achieve this is by ensuring that the public infrastructures along with its services, cater to the needs of the public. And in this regard, my friends, the solution in hand is privatization. Thank you.